Hey, so this is going to be part 5 of my testimony. I called it I Refuse to Sink, for lack of better words. This is after, well, actually, let me get to the scriptures first. I want to open up a couple of them. We'll do Proverbs 10:2, and that says, treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing. So what you gain, what you get from doing bad things, it's not going to amount to anything. And I'm just going to keep that in mind. Proverbs 23:5. That says, will you set your eyes on that which is not? For witches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle toward heaven. God has plans to prosper us, as it says in the Bible. And Jesus said he came so that we may have life in abundance. So it's not necessarily there's something wrong with having prosperity and having a good life and having the things you need in an abundance so you can give to others. But when you start to set your eyes on it, when you start to focus on that, when that's your driving force is the money or the people that are coming to you or the gifts that you've been given, that's when it says here, they fly away like an eagle toward heaven. So he has told us that we shouldn't focus on those things. And he says his gifts are irrevocable. He doesn't take them back. But the minute that we focus on the wrong thing, we're forgetting who it was that gave it to us. And we become fruitless, which I'll get into in a minute. Then 1 Peter 1:18, and that says, find it, knowing that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, like silver or gold, from your aimless conduct received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of Christ as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. I really like how it brings out the term tradition. Something that you've been doing, that your father's been doing, that your grandfather's been doing, that your family's been doing, so you do it. That's not what you were redeemed by. You were redeemed by something that breaks tradition. You were redeemed by something that breaks law. You were redeemed by somebody who is above that. So whatever it is that you seek out based on your own knowledge will fail. Jude 1:12. These are spots in your love feasts, while they feast with you without fear, serving only themselves. They are clouds without water, carried about by the winds, late autumn trees without fruit, twice dead, pulled up by the roots. So it speaks of two births, and it speaks of a first death and a second death in Revelations, body and spiritual. So it says that these that are carried about with no water and are producing nothing good are twice dead. So that's something you might want to grab onto a little bit. Whenever I went about after my kiddos and my ex had split up with me, and I went on a part where I had to prove something. I had to make sure that I was a good dad and make sure that I was a good man, and I wanted her to see it, and I wanted other people to see it, and I wasn't focused on God turning me into who I was meant to be. I was focused on me turning me into what I thought I should be. And so I took pieces of what everybody was and what I seen good people as being and how I viewed them, and I was like, okay, I can do that. I just need to do this. And so the reason I labeled this I Refuse to Sink is because even though the undertow was pulling, and even though I was getting tugged underwater, I kept fighting and I kept swimming, and I would not let go. I would not surrender. I would not admit my faults. I would not admit my issues. I would only build on them. If someone uncovered something about me that wasn't good, I would work twice as hard to make sure that that got buried again and that I built something good upon it. So I was trying to do the right thing, but I wasn't going about building the right foundation. I was trying to build a better life and do better things, but I never took care of the underlying issues. They were still there, and they were still haunting me. And like Jesus says, it's like you're building on sand and versus building on the rock, which is Him. So you build on sand and the sand shifts. And He says that the time will come that a consuming fire will test your foundation, will test what you've built, all your pearls, all your rubies, everything you've thrown into it, all the good workings and the good wisdom you think you have, and everything that you've put together yourself. I'm going to test that. And when I do, we'll see what you've actually built on me and what you've built on yourself for the world. So I was working. I was physically working. I was working on myself. It's not that I just gave up on life and said, okay, that's it. I was working hard to be a better person. And I had it in my mind that I was going to be a better person. And I was going to do better things. And I was going to be a better father. And I was going to do these things. So if you would have came to me and said, you're not doing anything, I would have looked at you and flat out said, you're a liar. You have no idea. Do you not see the things I'm doing? And that's what it was. It wasn't about what Jesus was doing for me. It wasn't about how Jesus changed me. It was about, look at me and what I'm doing. How can you say that when I've done all this, you know? And so I was working, but it was a fruitless labor. There wasn't nothing good coming from it. The only thing I had was, look what I did and look at this. I could only point to things. It wasn't like a fruit that you could come up and without talking to me be able to eat it. You couldn't just be around me and be like, wow, he's got patience, or wow, he's got love, or wow, he's got kindness or goodness or faithfulness. It's something that I had to speak about. It's something I had to tell you about, because the fruit wasn't hanging on the tree. I started getting an idea what the fruit looked like from looking at other trees, and I was able to say, oh, that's an apple because it's red and it's got a stem and it's got this certain like shape to it. So I could explain to you what the fruit was, but it wasn't on my tree for you to come eat it. So I was doing a lot of fruitless labor that didn't amount to anything. I went through a relationship and I had ill-gotten gain. It was, we went down certain roads to acquire the things we needed. Not stealing or anything like that. Not that it matters. I just letting you know I wasn't stealing. It was just, I mean, it was, I guess you could say that actually. In some way, shape, or form, I was stealing from somebody. We were trying to survive and trying to make it the best we knew how. And the devil put a piece of candy in front of us and we picked it up and we ran with it. I ate it. She ate it. Adam and Eve, right? And therefore came the trouble. Got enough money, bought a house, bought a car, bought all these things, paid cash for them, had extra money to spend and spare, and I was helping people here and there with it, doing what I could. Every bit of that money, I metered it and made sure I knew where it went, how it went. I took care of it the best I could, and it still went away. Like, I didn't blow it. I didn't go out and do stupid things with it. I was even helping people with it, and it still went away. So, promises of the Bible come true in my life, 100%. Not only that, but it ruined a relationship that could have been good. It ruined a relationship with two people who had the right heart going in the right direction, but went about it the wrong way and bought onto the lies the devil fed us. When it was a realization of where we were at and what was going on, it was too late. I couldn't save it. I couldn't do anything. I could only accept what it was and pray that she found better and pray that her life got better and so on and so forth. I still pray for her and other people that they found peace and that they find what it is they're looking for. So all the money that I acquired and riches, as it says, and the things that you go to the square and you can hold out and say, look what I got, look what I did, and I got this, and I see all these other people around me with all this stuff, and I'm like, I want that. You know, I want to be able to have things that I can help people with. I want to be able to have things that nice things, and not just always having nothing and always fighting with nothing and always being stuck with nothing. And so the devil knew that that was something I wanted, and he just laid candy all around me. And I'm the one that's seen it. I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. That's a shortcut. Let me try it. Hey, that's another shortcut. Let me try it. I wasn't willing to put the work in. I wasn't willing to buckle down and do the things that some of these, I'm not saying everybody, but some of these other people did put the work in. Some of these other people put their feet to the grindstone, and some of these other people followed everything that God asked them to do. Therefore, they were prospered. And here I am looking at it from the outside in. I'm like, why can't I have that? I want that. Just is, you know, it was covetousness. It was so many sins wrapped in one. And the devil trips you up so easily because he whispers these things that God promises you. And he tells you about these things that God promises you, and he says, you can get it here. You could do this, like he told Jesus. I'm going to take you to the Temple Mount. All of this could be yours if you'll just bow down to me, you know. Something that was already Jesus', something that was already promised to him. Just like the prosperity that was promised to me and you. It's already ours. And the devil says, oh, you can have it right now, you know. And so I went through a period of just ill-gotten gain and losing it. Nothing I did provided any good for anybody around me, and if it did, it was short-lived. It was built on my foundation, so when my foundation got shook, everything fell apart. I'm not saying that I didn't help somebody or help somebody maybe listening to this at some point, and those very well might have been good words coming from God through me, even though I wasn't serving him the way I should be. But I 100% know that anything that I said and anything that I tried to offer, anything that came from me, fell apart because it wasn't built on the rock. It wasn't built on the foundation of Christ. So I guess for this, I refused to sink part. I was stubborn. I didn't want to hear it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to help. I wanted to be there for people. I wanted to do all these great things for everybody around me, but I wanted to do it my way. And in my heart, when I came to God, I remember crying out to him and telling him, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't do it anymore without you. I've been trying. And I don't know what else to do. If you're real, I need to know. I need you. I wanted so bad to fix the world. And I still do, but now I got him guiding me. I wanted so bad to make things right with people that were hurting and people that were in bad relationships or people that were begging and pleading for things. And I wanted to fix everything around me, but I couldn't. And I would give them the words I could, but it was a warring of two natures. Like, I wanted to do one thing because the spirit in me was telling me to do this, but the flesh was pulling against it and saying, do that. And I just, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get off topic. I was stubborn and I wanted to do it my way. My way was wrong. Every single bit of it. There was nothing about me that was right. Until I surrendered to God and gave him the glory and gave him the admiration, and that's not going to matter. Anything apart from Jesus isn't going to matter. Anything you do on your own is going to falter and fail. And you may have a period of success. You may have a period where, or months or years where things just seem to go going right, and you may be doing wicked things the whole time. That also may be because God's allowing that to happen because he has a greater plan. Maybe he wants you to affect so many people with your vileness that when he changes your life, it's just a huge holy bomb going off that everybody's like, oh, wow, you know. I'm not saying that's it, but I'm not saying it's not. God is God, and he can do all things. So this part of my testimony, I'm trying to get across to everybody. It's not about how much you work. It's not about how you work. It's about who you're working for. I was working for myself. I was working for selfish gain. I wasn't working for God. I wasn't doing it because his people needed it. I was doing it because his people needed it, and I wanted something out of it too. And even if I wanted to do it because somebody needed it, I didn't know how to go about it. When you choose God and you choose to work for Him, He gives you every tool you need. He gives it to you when you don't even realize you got it. You open up the toolbox and you're like, when did I buy that? And it's there for you to use. So I guess what I'm trying to get across, because I keep saying this over and over, sorry. Stop focusing on the hand and start focusing on His face. Stop focusing on the money and start focusing on who it's coming from. It's not about the money. It's not about the items. Look at the rich man that came to Jesus. And he said, I've done everything, every law, everything that was asked. And that's how basically he acquired all that wealth. And he said, what do I need to do to enter the kingdom of heaven? He said, take everything you have and give it to those in need. Couldn't do it. So if it's God's and He's given it to you, then He can tell you what to do with it. Start working for Him, and in His promises to prosper you, you may be feeding out $100,000 a day, but I promise you He's going to feed in exactly what you need. I didn't say He's going to feed in $100,000. I didn't say He's going to feed in $200,000. I said He's going to feed in exactly what you need. So you may be putting out more, but you're going to be getting exactly what you need. And you be content with that. You be okay with that. Because God knows what you need more than you know what you need. I may be giving $100 away a week, and God may be giving me $20 a week. But somehow it works. And in my math, that makes no sense. In my math, if I sit there and put it on paper, I'm like, how is this possible? You know? But all things are possible to God. And I mean, that may seem like, oh, that doesn't make sense at all. You really don't understand until it happens when you're doing these things and you're like, I just always seem to have what I need. And more oftentimes. So, give it to God. Love Him above all else. Leave your selfish ways behind. Stop trying to work so hard. Sit back, rest, do what God asks you to do, and let Him do the work. He's really good at doing it. We're the creation. We're the clay. We have no business telling the potter what to do or how to do it. Sit back, be pretty like He asked you, and love the people around you. Thank you.